The mm, basic concepts. Everyone thinks, everyone reasons, everyone argues, and everyone is subjected to the reasoning and arguing of others. We are bombarded daily with reasoning from many sources: books, speeches, radio, TV, newspapers, employers, friends, and family. Some people think well, reason well, and argue well. Some do not. The ability to think, reason, and argue well is partly a matter of natural gifts. But whatever our natural gifts, they can be refined and sharpened. And the study of logic is one of the best ways to refine one's natural ability to reason and argue. Through the study of logic, one learns strategies for thinking well, common errors in reasoning to avoid, and effective techniques for evaluating arguments. What is logic? Hmm. Roughly speaking, logic is the study of methods for evaluating arguments. More precisely, logic is the study of methods for evaluating whether the premises of an argument adequately support or provide good evidence for its conclusion. To get a better grasp of what logic is, then we need to understand the key concepts involved in this definition: argument, premise, conclusion, and support. Okay, so let's go through them. An argument is a set of statements, one of which, called the conclusion, is affirmed on the basis of the others, which are called the premises. The premises of an argument are offered as support or evidence for the conclusion. And that support or evidence may be adequate or inadequate in a given case. But the set of statements counts as an argument as long as one of the statement is affirmed on the basis of others. Okay. All Quakers are pacifists. Jane is a Quaker, so Jane is a pacifist. So the word so indicates that the conclusion of this argument is Jane is a pacifist. And the argument has two premises. All Quakers are pacifists, and Jane is a Quaker. An argument is a set of statements, one of which is called the conclusion, is affirmed on the basis of the others, which are called the premises. Okay, so that's a key point to remember. Now, what is a statement? A statement is a sentence that is either true or false. Okay, here's some examples. Some dogs are collies. No dogs are collies. Some dogs weigh exactly 124.379 pounds. Okay, so the statement, so the first one is true. Some dogs are collies. That's true. So it describes that there are some dogs that are collies. And the next one, number three, is no dogs are collies. That's false. No dogs are collies because there are dogs that are collies. So it failed that test based on we don't have to do too much research. We can just imagine that collies are dogs. But then this statement says no dogs are collies. That's false because there are some dogs that are collies. That's what's said in the first statement. Some dogs are collies. Hmm. So, in other words, they took the first statement and negated it, and you got a false statement out of it. Hmm. Truths and falsehoods are two possible truth values. So, we can say that a statement is a sentence that has two possible truth values. What? So we can say that a statement is a sentence that has truth value. The truth value of the first one, some dogs are collies, is true, while the truth value of the next one, no dogs are collies, is false, but both of them, they're both statements. Now is number four a statement? Some dogs weigh exactly 124.379 pounds. Yes, you may know its truth value, and perhaps no one does, but 4 is either true or false, and hence it is a statement. Hmm. So, a statement doesn't have to be true to be a statement. Hmm. Now let's look at these. All right, any of these statements? Let's see. First one is get your dog off my lawn. Is that a statement? Hmm, that sounds like a command. How many dogs do you own? That's like a question mark. Question. Let's get a dog. So maybe none of them are statements. Well, maybe they are. So, or maybe the way they're said uh, suggests that they are, but maybe you have to derive statements out of them. Let's see. Let's see what it says here. So Item 5, the first one in this group that says, "Get your dog off my lawn," is a command, and one may obey or disobey a command, but it makes no sense to pronounce it true or false. So, although it is a sentence, it has a subject, verb, object, maybe. Get your dog off my lawn. Maybe the subject is you, and the verb is get, and the object is your dog. Mm, off my lawn. Maybe off my lawn is part of this verb, I suppose. So it's uh definitely a command. Get your dog off my lawn. It's something that could be obeyed or disobeyed. But is it true or is it false? It's not applicable, maybe, or there's no truthiness or falseness in it. I don't think. Well, maybe. Well, it's assumed that your dog does exist. Like if somebody says, "Get your dog off my lawn," and you don't have, and it's not your dog, then there's some falseness in that statement, I suppose. Anyway, let's look at this next one. How many dogs do you own? So that's a question. And as such, it is neither true nor false. Hence, it is not a statement. How many dogs do you own? Well, maybe if you don't own any dogs, then it's false. No, as if you don't have the right to say it. So it's false. No, you can say it. Hmm, even if you don't have the right to say it. No, or you can say it even if you insult the person you're saying it to because that person doesn't have a dog on your lawn or doesn't have. But no, that's the first one. The first one was talking about dog on the lawn, but the second one is talking about how many dogs do you own. So what if you don't own any dogs but instead own cats? Or mm, or what if you you walk dogs but they belong to others? So you like a dog walker. Now let's look at the last one. Let's get a dog. Eh, That's called a proposal, and proposals are neither true nor false. So it is not a statement. So none of these are definitely true or false. They they it doesn't apply. So the premise of an argument are the statements on the basis of which the conclusion is affirmed. To put it another way around, the conclusion is the statement that is affirmed on the basis of the premises. Okay, So the premises are kind of like the evidence or the grounds for coming to a conclusion. Maybe they could be considered the causes of the effect being the conclusion. And so to put it the other way around, the conclusion is the statement that is affirmed on the basis of the premises. The first way of saying it is the premises of an argument are the statements on basis of which the conclusion is affirmed. So looking back at this statement that is a true or false, some dogs are collies. Oh well, that's just a statement. It doesn't have premises. And in conclusion, I guess premises are statements and a conclusion is a statement. So the go back to this example of all Quakers are pacifists. Jane is a Quaker, so Jane is a pacifist. So the premises are all Quakers are pacifists and Jane is a Quaker. And the conclusion is Jane is a pacifist. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the way it goes. So what else do we need to know about this? And it says here the premise. Oh, right. In a well-constructed argument, the premises give good reasons for believing that the conclusion is true. But a poorly constructed argument is still an argument. Here's an example of a poorly constructed argument. Let's see. Here it goes. All uncles are male. Chris is an uncle. Hence, Chris is male. Hmm. It seems. What makes it? Uh. hmm, let's see. Let's look at. Let's look at the next one. Some uncles are skinny. Chris is an uncle, so Chris is skinny. That's not necessarily true. So is it somehow that one is poorly constructed, or I sense that it's not true. So that's why I sense that it's poorly constructed. So let's see what it says. The premise of the argument number 8, which says all uncles are male. Chris is an uncle, hence Chris is male. It seems logical, doesn't it? It's seems like it's must be well constructed. So the premise of number 8 support the premises support or provide a basis for the conclusion in this sense. So if they are both true, that is, if all uncles are male, and that is true. And if Chris is an uncle, that that one we have to certainly assume. So both of those are true, and they're constructed in such a way that there's some overlap between these two. Un- Uncles are male, and Chris is a male. So that's kind of got like A equals B, and A equals B, and C equals A, or something like that. Hence, A equals C. No, I'm trying to use algebra here. Maybe we'll learn about that later on. So, anyway, I can sense that the first one is well constructed. And if we assume that both premises are true, then we can conclude that the conclusion is true. But the second one, number 9, it says some uncles are skinny and Chris is an uncle, so Chris is skinny. If it said all uncles are skinny and Chris is an uncle, therefore Chris is skinny, that would have been true, because as it is, it's saying some, and that is true because you can't have all uncles to be skinny. So you have to say it that way to make it true, right? You could try to lie in court to convince the jury that all uncles are skinny, but I don't think so. Anyway, uh, so yeah, the number 9 is some uncles are skinny. Chris is an uncle, so Chris is skinny. That fails to support the conclusion adequately. Even if true, they do not provide good reason to believe that the conclusion is true. So number 9 is a bad argument, but it is still an argument. Arguments are used frequently in our verbal and written interactions with others, and we may use arguments either to persuade others or to discover truth. For example, we often use arguments to persuade others to believe our political or ethical views, but we also use arguments as tools for discovering truth. Suppose a detective is investigating a crime. Who shot Alvin Smith? There are only two suspects, Griggs and Brooks. So the detective establishes Brooks was out of town at the time of the shooting and argues as follows. Either Brooks or Griggs shot Smith. Brooks did not shoot Smith, therefore Griggs shot Smith. In this case, the argument is used to discover truth. Hmm. Process of elimination. Of course, a given argument can be used both to discover truth and to persuade others to believe the conclusion. Persuasion and truth seeking are often compatible goals. Sometimes, however, one of these goals interferes with the other. For example, in a political campaign, one candidate might try to persuade the voters that his opponent is dishonest, even though he knows his opponent is honest. So we now have a preliminary understanding of what logic is. We we can gain a deeper understanding by taking a closer look at what it means for the conclusion of an argument to be adequately based on or supported by the premises. And we can best do this by exploring the basic concepts introduced in the remaining sections of this chapter. Concepts such as validity, soundness, argument form, strength, and cogency. So, logic is the study of methods for evaluating whether the premises of an argument adequately support or provide good evidence for its conclusion. So we'll go over the next few sections where we uh, learn about validity and soundness and other things as we explore the power of logic. Third edition. See Stephen Lehman. Let's see what year this is. This is a college textbook, I suppose. Yeah, it's a McGraw Hill. And it's 1993, it looks like, or 1996, or somewhere along those lines. Let's see. I see. Let's see. Year 2000, or maybe 2003. Maybe those are the more recent editions. Hmm. And here's the content. So we're looking at basic concepts. Mhm. So we got around to 1.1. Oh, yeah, here it is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 is are the subparts in the meta part, chapter 1. The meta part? Yeah, I used that kind of outline, calling that. So, chapter, how many chapters are there? Oh, there's about 11. Then there's the answer key and glossary. All right. Here's got some reference rules for statement logic. Uh, uh, uh. So you got implicational rules. Implication. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 implicational rules. There's equivalence rules. There's a bunch of them. There's conditional proof, and there's a reductio ad absurdum, or AA. There's inference rules for predicate logic. Well, there's a bunch of those. And let's see. If there's something in the back on this side. There's more. Yeah, there's some logical equivalent statement forms. There's traditional square of opposition. Well, the syllogistic forms. Rules for categorical syllogisms. Rules of probability Bayes theorem. Summary of truth tables. Inference rules for the logic of identity. Oh, this is a cheat sheet. So, what's new in the third edition? There's proof, truth table, and symbolization assessments using page out. Page out? What is page out? This feature allows students to practice in text in an online environment that provides immediate feedback. Even more, a comprehensive course management system drives this online tool, providing instructors with a grade book, course specific, customized website, no HTML or programming required, and more, all using easy template driven forms. PageOut is robust, will save instructors tremendous time and energy and provide unprecedented online resources. Hmm. Yeah, this book is accompanied by several online resources available at that web page www.mhhe.com/layman3e logic tutor, an online tutorial. And a page out is an online proof, truth table, and symbolization assessment and course management tool. And an online learning center containing additional book related web resources. So, Stephen Lehman's The Power of Logic is written from a conviction that logic is fundamental to a college education. The text covers both symbolic logic and more traditional methods. Traditional methods include argument forms, counterexamples, informal fallacies, Venn diagrams, and rules for evaluating categorical syllogisms. The coverage of symbolic logic includes truth tables, abbreviated truth tables, proofs for statement or propositional logic, the finite universe method, and proofs for predicate logic, including the logic of identity. So there you have it. I didn't read this part, but I read this. I read this. There you have it. And I'll continue another day to study the power of logic. Yay! Yay! Oh, and have a good day or good evening. Uh, Happy New Year.